Welcome to another episode of the Wondering Watercolor. Today I'm going over the third page of the Cute Cats watercoloring book, and if it's something that you purchased from me, you can go ahead and follow along with this tutorial. If you want to purchase that from me, it'll be in the description, and if you just want to paint along, you can kind of draw out what I drew here and then just paint along. Either way, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the third page. So far we had painted this was the first page, this is the second page, and now we are on the third page. As always, I have my scrap paper, my paintbrush, my watercolor set. The paint here is the exact same one as the watercolor sets that I make and sell, and I'm using the exact same little brush that I sell along with the sets. I also have some paint on the side here. Now it's not paint, I'm sorry, water. I have a water jar for my watercolor paint, so that I don't use the little reservoir, because otherwise I'll have to continuously fill it up. But these work great when you are on the go. And I also have a rag. I highly recommend a rag, or just like a tissue, something like that. Okay. Alright, let's start painting. So basically for this cat, the belly, this area right here, kind of the lower, in between the lower part of the cat itself, the fur is lighter, and then the back of it is darker, also on top of the head. So that's what we're going for. First we'll go ahead and we'll mix some of the fur color, which is kind of like a lightish yellowish brownish for the belly. We'll get some of that, mix it up. It also has kind of like a very slight greenish to it, but we'll kind of lighten it up. There we go. And kind of looks like a muddy color, so I'll add a little more yellow to it. There we go. Okay, first I'll kind of do a light wash with some water, and just kind of, I'm not being too concerned about it. We'll kind of leave this part of the muzzle white, and then we'll just kind of throw that in there. Don't worry about it too much. Definitely don't stress over it. Just kind of lay it in there. And kind of have fun while you're painting with it. It doesn't have to be very serious or strict or restrained. Just and just adding maybe some more here for some gradation. Okay, that's good for that color. Now we'll mix for the back, the top of the hair, or the top of the head. Basically these stripes, the stripes right here, right here, right here, all of these stripes, they are kind of like a very dark brown, almost black. So we will go over with a wash of light brown for the fur of the cat, and then on top we'll put on those dark, really dark tones. So let's do that. I'm just gonna mix it right into the same color that I had already. Okay. Get a little bit of the green, try to neutralize it, make it a little browner. or more like a desaturated brown, like something that you would see on the fur of a cat. So this looks pretty okay, but the color itself is too warm, so I'm gonna use a little bit of blue, kind of cool it down a little bit. That's closer to the tone that I'm going for. Okay, get some water. Initially, whenever I lay down a flat wash for the base tone, I don't want it to be too dark, because I still want to be able to see those markings underneath. The way that I make these watercoloring books is I want it to basically look like the idea is that it looks like a pencil sketch that people could just go in and fill in and paint over. And actually, you can use any medium for these books. You can use oil, you can use acrylic, watercolor, ink. All of them work fine. Mainly because watercolor paper is very thick and can take a lot of mediums. Okay, put that in. There we go. Kind of like that. And just a little lighter, like might dry the brush off a little bit, rinse it off, and just a little lighter here where the paws are. Maybe pick some of it up with the rag. Okay. The same for this one. And then go on top of the head here. It's a little dark, but that's okay. Kind of throw that in some outline for the ears. Kind of come around down here. Kind of goes in a little bit, and then rinse it off with the water, and then make this lighter and kind of blend it in. And the way that this cat's fur pattern is set up is it kind of has the darker shade going down the nose, but I'm gonna let this dry a little bit before I get to that. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit here and here. The rest of it is pretty much black, so we're not gonna worry about where the brown ends, since the black is just gonna cover it up. Okay. And so that's dried. It's pretty okay. So I can go ahead and start laying down the dark color. I'm gonna mix it in here a little bit. First place I'm gonna put it is just where the tail is, because there's no color underneath it already, and I don't have to worry about like anything that's not dried. So just throwing it right in. If you go out of the line a little bit, it's no big deal, kind of like I did here. As long as it looks fairly uniformed and it works, you know, then it's no need to worry about it. Okay, I'm just adding that in. There we go. I definitely have got to stabilize my table. It's a little wobbly, you could probably tell. Okay, I'm just adding more. And there we go. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna take off my jacket here because it's kind of warm. All right, there we go. And we're continuing in with the dark color. Don't worry about it if it's running in here. I often just kind of blend in colors. Sometimes I'll go in with my rag and just kind of like clear them out and add more colors. Really, to have fun with watercolor and make it expressive, don't worry about making everything perfect. That's part of the fun of these watercoloring books, is that you can just kind of go along with them without having to worry about coloring just inside the lines. You can just kind of do what you like. If you do want to color inside the lines, that's fine. You can use pencils if you want. This is kind of the fun part for me. It's just the painting with the actual brush and paint. Pick some more. Just drop it in. And I know it looks really dark when I'm putting it down, but as you can tell, as it dries up, it becomes lighter. That's because watercolor paint always dries lighter. It always ends up looking lighter. That's why you can keep layering and layering to really bring out those dark values to make it pop. It's kind of hard to do it if you haven't got the practice. But you kind of figure it out pretty quickly the more you do it. And these watercoloring books should help in establishing that. Okay. There we go. Let me get some more. This part is relatively easy because you're literally just following the pattern, and as I said, you don't have to worry about following inside the lines exactly, but you could just kind of get an idea of how the pattern goes. And like as you can see, as I'm laying this down right now, I'm not following it exactly, but just kind of like trying to make it look like it fits, you know, using short strokes to make it look like there's fur. Because if you just do like a flat stroke, it'll look mechanical, and if you do like the short strokes and kind of just follow the pattern, it actually looks like there's fur, you know, like there's that prickliness to the edge that you get from the fur. Alright, next is down here. We're just kind of going to go like this. And go like this. And like this. If I'm going too fast, you could just rewind some of it, and that's kind of the advantage of these online videos, is that it just helps people do it at their own pace. Like that. Okay. See how it's coming together pretty quickly. Now, next I'm gonna throw in more at the tail, but I'm not gonna do the full thing. I'm just gonna add some dark here for the contrast, so that it adds a little bit of feel of form for the roundness of the tail. Also, it helps separate exactly where the bottom is, and maybe just add a little bit of a suggestion here and there. Do the same for here. There we go. A little more here. And back here. Fairly simple. And I'm just adding it in some places just to kind of help define it a little better. You don't have to do it everywhere. But yeah, I think you get the idea. Just add some variety, some more visual interest. Like that. Okay. And now we'll go ahead and we'll add some of the pattern up here in the face, since this is sufficiently dried now. There we go. Do a little bit like this. And now we will add right above the eyes. This I will go kind of slow on just because I don't want to really mess it up. Maybe use my scrap sheet of paper here to get a little, make sure that the lines are pointed, that the brush tip is kind of pointed. Okay, putting it in right there. There we go. I messed up a little bit there, but that's okay. I'm just gonna outline. There we go. And you see the little dot where the eye is? It's kind of constricted. I'm just gonna touch it up a little bit. There. Same right here. Gonna go like that. And then that's a little easier because it's a wider, closer to the viewer, so it's a little wider. And put like that, and then add a little outline at the bottom. And there. Okay. And there is some pattern here coming from the back. Just add it in like that. And it doesn't have to be perfectly exact as I'm doing it. You could just kind of put in the stripes however you want. Okay. Oh, the eye, the pupil of this, of the right eye. Just going in ever so gently. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now we just need to add some for the nose, add a little bit of contrast. Where the mouth is, like that. A few dots here for the cheeks where the whiskers are. I didn't put in the whiskers because they can actually become confusing when painting it, when using the outlines or the sketched image. Okay. While I let some of these parts dry, they'll dry pretty quickly, but I'll move away from them for a second. What I'm going to do is get a little bit of dark blue here, kind of dilute it a little bit. So the dark blue is complementary to, or adjacent complementary to the yellowish that we have here. You could use something like purple. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's use some purple. And the way that we'll do that is we'll take some of the dark blue, we'll take some of the burgundy color that we have here, and just kind of mix it in and make it kind of purplish. And this is gonna be for the background. So doing that with a complementary color will help these colors pop a little more. So we'll go ahead and we'll do not too much, just kind of like, if you do it kind of quickly, you can get a little bit of the texture in there. That's why I'm just kind of like going like that. Get a little in there. There we go. There we go. Not too much, so it's not overpowering. I will probably go in later and add. Actually, I don't know if I'll go in. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. Okay. Now let's mix the nose and the ears. We'll go with the little bit of orange, red, some white. I really don't ever use white when I paint, other than if I'm trying to mix some skin tones and if I'm having a really hard time mixing up the lighter skin tones, then I will use white. Although generally you don't really need it, but since this is aimed more for beginners, it really kind of helps getting the feel for it with the use of white. Okay, there we go. So let me use my scrap paper here, and I'm gonna use this. Get some more water. If you like a certain color that you've mixed, but you're not too sure about it, if you use more water with it to have it more diluted, it helps when laying it down because you're not as worried about how it'll come out, and then you could just layer up on top of it. And I'm happy with how this looks. This looks fine. The second layer that I add to show depth will be a little more on the red side, but this is fine. So we'll go in, and here for the nose. Here we go. Now this cat's eyes are pretty green, so we'll take the green over here, take some yellow, and it's actually really close to the eyes of the actual cat. So we'll go ahead and we will just drop that right in, avoiding the white highlight that is part of the sketch underneath. Okay. There we go. Pretty simple, not too hard. Okay, so the next thing I will do is mix a darker brown, just right here. This is probably good enough. I'll go ahead and I'll add some here, kind of like a shadow. Add some here, And there. Add a little bit in the fur. Kind of show some of the shadows from the hair. And then for the paws, like that. And maybe a little bit here. Here. And then maybe darken it up a little bit and then get some right here. There we go. I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. The last thing will be, after we add the contrast for the ears, will be to make some of the stripes darker, and that should be it. We're almost there. So we got that. Okay, we'll add some of the burgundy here. Make it a little darker. It's okay if we get some of this darker color in here. That looks perfect. So we will go in kind of like that. So it gives it an idea. There we go. And then a little bit of shadow for the nose. There we go. That's looking good. Just dry off some of the brush and pick up there to make it blend in better. Same for here. And the last part is we will get the dark paint. And we'll add more contrast right there. And here. Maybe a little bit of an outline for where, well, we'll get back to that outline. So let's do right there, there. Okay, now that we've used up some of the darker part of the paint, we'll go back for the outline. Like that. And like that. And here for the little back paw. There we go. That's coming together pretty nicely. And here for the eye, we definitely want to darken that up. We'll go straight for the pigment and darkening the outline around the eyes. And here. And also, let's get some more black in where the pupil is. There we go. Messed it up a little bit on the left one, but it still looks fine. Somehow I managed to get a little bit right there. That's okay. While it's still wet, I get my wet brush, go like that. Kind of rub it in. And comes out pretty good. There we go. It's not too bad. So I do also want to kind of like increase the contrast for the chin there. Do a little bit of that. Maybe some of the hairs. There we go. Yeah, I'd say that's looking pretty good. I would give that a fairly complete. Do a little bit more for the ears there. The ears are looking a little funny, so try to there. I'm pretty happy with this one. Just clean off my brush and put that there. Yeah, not bad. What was that? Another 30 minutes or so. Yeah. So that was pretty much it for that one. I'm really liking how the result turned out. If you're wanting to purchase one of these coloring books, it'll be in the description. And let me know what you think. If you think these tutorials need to be improved somehow, please let me know. I'm obviously very new at this, so I'm trying to improve. And if you want to send me a message on Instagram or email me on my website, all the information is in the description. And with that, I will see you next time.